The cry of the earth and the cry of the poor are becoming increasingly serious and alarming. These are words from Pope Francis, noting that the two cries of the earth and of the poor are increasingly interconnected due to climate change. Hi everybody, my name is Josh Utter and I'm an advocate with Jesuit Refugee Service USA. Jesuit Refugee Service is an international Catholic organization with a mission to accompany, serve, and advocate the cause of refugees and other forcibly displaced people, that they may heal, learn, and determine their own future. JRS teams are currently present in 58 countries and are witness to the impact of climate change on forced displacement. Currently, millions of people are facing life-threatening conditions as a result of climate change, and many will leave their homes, desperate to find more bearable surroundings. They have become the embodiment of climate displacement, defined as the non-voluntary movement of people driven by climate or environmental conditions. Each year since 2008, an average of 21.5 million people have been forcibly displaced because of weather-related or often sudden climate disasters. Most will remain within their own countries, becoming internally displaced, yet many will find themselves crossing borders into foreign territory. Alarmingly, they will not be afforded protection as refugees, since climate is not one of the qualifiers for refugee status, as outlined in the 1951 Geneva Convention. When the 1951 Geneva Convention created the legal definition of who is a refugee, climate change was not a known threat to humanity. For that reason, there is no internationally binding treaty or agreement that protects people displaced by climate change. Some regional agreements allow for broader definitions of who is a refugee. For example, in Latin America, the Cartagena Declaration on Refugees, a non-binding regional instrument for the protection of refugees, includes the phrase, "or other circumstances which have seriously disturbed public order," in its definition of who is a refugee. This phrase leaves room for interpretation of what disturbs public order, such as an extreme weather event, which some countries in the region have used to grant refugee status to people for reasons related to climate displacement. Despite this room for interpretation, the Cartagena Declaration does not include an explicit mention of displacement due to climate change. Currently, U.S. law does not protect people displaced by climate change. To address this lack of protection, advocates have been calling for the passage of the Climate Displaced Persons Act, something that you'll be invited to advocate for this weekend. This bill was first introduced to Congress in November 2023 by Senator Ed Markey from Massachusetts and Congresswoman Nydia Velázquez from New York. If passed, this legislation would enact a national strategy that would provide a more equitable immigration pathway to the United States for people displaced by climate change and critical support for people affected by climate disasters internationally. In particular, this legislation would create a U.S. resettlement pathway for climate displaced persons. As the threat of climate change becomes more and more apparent, I invite you to join Jesuit Refugee Service, the Ignatian Solidarity Network, and many others in advocating for the passage of the Climate Displaced Persons Act. This weekend has provided you with so many opportunities to learn about climate displacement, about climate change, and it's really up to you to make sure that our representatives, our senators, those who hold power know of the impact of climate change on people seeking safety. So do not let this weekend be the last time you advocate for this issue. Please continue to join us in asking for change and for improvements and to make sure that all people who are seeking safety are protected. Thank you.